This is Nightline and I am Natasha. Busst. The top stories. Army procurement cartel, ex-army chief and his 2 wives among 5 arrested. Also, developing countries urged to chart their own course without being overly dependent on the world's major powers. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, has arrested former Army Chief General Tan Sri Muhammad Hafizuddin Jantan and his 2 wives as part of its investigation into an army procurement project case. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said the 3 were arrested together with 2 others suspected of conspiring to misappropriate 2.4 million ringgit. According to Azam, Hafizuddin and his wives arrived at the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya at 3:10 p.m. on Wednesday to have their statements recorded.
Sehingga 7 petang ni kita telah menahan pepanggiman tata darat. Yang kedua, 2 orang perempuan yang merupakan isteri-isterinya. Yang ketiga, semalam kita ada menahan seorang lelaki Melayu bersama isterinya yang mana disyaki yang telah bersubahat dalam untuk melarikan duit 2.5 million yang saya sebutkan tadi.
Azam added that the MACC will file a remand application for the trio on Thursday. Hafizuddin was previously scheduled to give his statement on December 28th, but was unable to do so after being hospitalized. On December 23rd, the MACC visited the Defense Ministry to investigate several Malaysian Army projects dating back to 2023. The graft busters also froze 6 bank accounts belonging to Hafizuddin and his family members to assist in the probe. On December 29th, Defense Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin confirmed that the senior officer had been ordered to go on leave with immediate effect until investigations against him are completed. Meanwhile, Azam said the 2 other suspects who were arrested had been remanded for 7 days starting Wednesday. He also revealed that the money was discovered when the suspects were attempting to move the 2.4 million ringgit in misappropriated funds from one residence to another.
Malam pegawai kita dapat maklumat dan pagi tadi dapat wang berkenaan lebih kurang dalam 2.4 juta. Lebih kurang kemungkinan lebih sikit dan bentuk cash value. Ini antara wang salah seorang subjek yang terlibat dalam kes ini cuba melarikannya.
On Tuesday, 17 company directors were remanded for 5 days after they were suspected of being involved in the army project procurement cartel. They allegedly bribed senior officers in exchange for securing projects for the army. Meanwhile, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim has issued a firm reminder to the army that there will be no compromise on corruption and abuse of power within the nation's armed forces. The king issued the firm advice to newly appointed Army Chief General Dato' Azhan Mat Othman. Sultan Ibrahim made the remarks after granting Azhan an audience at Istana Bukit Tunku in Kuala Lumpur on Wednesday. According to the king, the army chief must lead by example in cultivating clean, transparent and accountable governance. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong also expressed hope that the army would continue to be respected and trusted by the people as a professional force free from corrupt practices in its role of defending the nation's sovereignty and security. The king reiterated that middlemen or agents should not be allowed to operate within the Defense Ministry. Azhan was officially appointed as the 31st Army Chief with effect from January 1st. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who is on his 3-day official visit in Turkey, was accorded an official welcoming ceremony at the presidential complex in Ankara. Anwar and the Malaysian delegation arrived at 4:30 p.m. local time and was received by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The ceremony began with the playing of both countries' national anthems, followed by Anwar inspecting a guard of honor mounted by the Turkish Presidential Guard. Anwar then had a closed-door meeting with Erdogan before the two are scheduled to jointly chair the inaugural High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council meeting later on Wednesday. The Prime Minister will travel to Istanbul on Thursday to attend a roundtable session with Turkish companies. Anwar will also be conferred Turkey's highest award, the Order of the Republic, in recognition of his role in strengthening relations between the two countries. The visit marks Anwar's third time visiting the West Asian country. Earlier, the Prime Minister urged developing countries to chart their own course without being overly dependent on the world's major powers. According to Anwar, such direction should be shaped through strategic cooperation with a range of partners. Speaking at a forum in Ankara, Anwar emphasized that Malaysia's and ASEAN's strategic stance is to engage all parties actively and pragmatically.
So I think it is therefore important for countries, emerging economies, to realize that our future is not necessarily be tied to the dictates of the big powers, be it United States or China.
The Prime Minister also said that Turkey's approach aligns with Malaysia's stance, as the country has consistently been vocal on humanitarian issues, even when they involve the world's major powers.
A very strategic position to engage aggressively, actively, to benefit our country and our region by fomenting strong relationship both United States and with China.
In his speech, Anwar also said that Malaysia sees BRICS as an important platform for building cooperation and new partnerships. He added that the economic bloc is also crucial in strengthening diversification and national resilience amid ongoing global uncertainties.
But also to join new initiatives that could broaden our horizon and extend our penetration to new trading alignments, such as with within BRICS, for example, and any sort of a third world network arrangements.
Earlier, Anwar received a courtesy call from Turkish Defense Industry Secretary Professor Dr. Haluk Gürgen. Discussions focused on defense cooperation between Malaysia and Turkey, particularly in capability development, technology transfer, and training. Both sides also agreed to further strengthen collaboration between defense companies from both countries towards a more strategic and comprehensive partnership. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister was also accorded honors to perform a wreath-laying ceremony at Anik Kabir, the mausoleum of Turkey's founding leader Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. He also toured the surrounding complex, which includes the Museum of the War of Independence and Turkey's national history. Anwar said the visit provided an opportunity for reflection on the meaning of leadership and the importance of national values in building a just and dignified future. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, is tracking assets belonging to Maju Holdings Director Tan Sri Abu Sahid Mohamad overseas, estimated to be worth about 250 million ringgit. This is to assist investigations into criminal breach of trust and money laundering linked to the Maju Expressway MEX2 project. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said the graft buster is now working with foreign agencies, particularly in the United Kingdom, to recover the assets.
Banyak proses yang perlu kita patuhi di bawah mutual legal assistance, yang mana ini melibatkan pihak Jabatan Peguam Negara, dan pihak kami telah menyediakan draft kepada Jabatan Peguam Negara bagi memohon maklumat-maklumat daripada pihak luar negara yang terutama sekali yang saya namakan agensi dinamakan IAAC daripada UK.
Previously, Abu Sahid pleaded not guilty to 4 charges of criminal breach of trust involving 313 million ringgit, as well as 13 counts of money laundering involving 139 million ringgit. The MACC has also recorded a statement from Bersatu Segambut Deputy Division Chief Adam Radlan Adam Muhammad in connection with the case to obtain clarification on the alleged flow of funds involving Abu Sahid. Earlier, Azam led an MECC delegation on a visit to Balai Berita in Bangsar. He was received by Media Prima Berhad Group Chairman Datuk Sri Dr. Syed Hussein Al-Junid, Group Managing Director Datuk Rafiq Razali, Media Prima Omnia Chief Operating Officer Datuk Muhammad Effendi Omar, and Media Prima News and Current Affairs Group Managing Editor Jaspant Singh. Azam was also briefed on MPB's operations and held discussions with the company's management. Investment, Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani said Malaysia has strong potential to further strengthen exports to the Turkey market, particularly in the palm oil, petrochemical and iron and steel sectors. This is in addition to efforts to explore high-impact investment opportunities. According to Johari, Turkey is among the significant contributors of foreign investment into Malaysia, with total investments exceeding 500 million ringgit to date. Beyond investment, Turkey is also a strategic trading partner, offering strong potential for further expansion.
Turkey ini adalah merupakan satu negara yang sangat penting pada kita kerana dia mempunyai trade dengan kita yang sangat besar. Terutamanya on our side, kita ekspor hampir, kita punya total trade almost 24 billion setahun.
The minister added that opportunities for cross-sector collaboration have also been identified for further development. Among the key focus areas is the food and beverage industry, which offers strong potential given that 98% of Turkey's population is Muslim. Meanwhile, Turkey has been identified as a key gateway for Malaysian companies seeking access to the European market. The country also offers strong potential for investment and trade across several strategic sectors, including the halal industry. In conjunction with the Prime Minister's official visit to Turkey, several memoranda of understanding in the halal sector with Turkey's investment agency were signed.
So we are hoping to bring more suppliers of all these multinationals in Turkey to also look at the opportunities in Malaysia and making Malaysia as a stepping stone to go into other Asia market.
Cooperation also extends to the industrial and technology sectors as well as aerospace and defense. From a trade perspective, Turkey is also seen as having strong potential to serve as a key hub for Malaysian companies expanding into the European market.
Pasaran Turki ini juga dia adalah sebagai gateway pintu masuk kepada pasaran-pasaran Eropah dan pasaran Balkan. Jadi ini adalah satu peluang bagi pengeksport Malaysia untuk menggunakan bukan saja untuk mengeksport ke Turki tetapi juga untuk menggunakan Turki sebagai pintu masuk gateway kepada pasaran Eropah.
Restaurant operator pleads not guilty to ramming doctor. This and more when we come back.
lelaki tak guna. Kau rampas maruah aku. Saya nampak iklan rumah untuk disewakan. Ada lagi ke?
Kalau perempuan yang suara sedap ni, rupa mesti cantik macam artis kan?
Jangan salahkan aku kalau aku terpaksa gunakan cucu kau.
Nazimah dah balik. Perempuan tu nama dia Dewi, bukan Nazimah. Saya sayang negara awak, Dewi. Tolong bagi saya peluang.
Aku akan hancurkan keturunan kau yang mati hidup. Aku cakap jangan hancur dia. Dasar jantan tak guna. Aku akan pastikannya aku dapat tuntut dendam aku sebelum ajal aku sampai.
The federal court has upheld the acquittal of Samira Muzaffar and 2 teenagers of the murder of Cradle Fund Chief Executive Officer Nazrin Hassan 8 years ago. A 3-judge panel unanimously dismissed the prosecution's final appeal against the Court of Appeal's earlier decision to acquit and discharge the 3 individuals. The panel was led by Court of Appeal President Dato' Abu Bakar Jais, sitting with federal court judges Dato' Rosaria Bujang and Dato' Nordin Hassan. In delivering the decision, Abu Bakar said that after examining the written grounds of the High Court and the Court of Appeal, the panel found no error in the reasons given by both courts in acquitting the respondents. Based on the written and oral submissions by both the appellant and the respondents, the court held that the charge had not been proven on a prima facie basis at the close of the prosecution's case. He added that the prosecution had failed to establish a common intention among the accused to cause injury that ultimately resulted in death. According to the charge, Samira, the 2 teenagers, and Indonesian national Eka Wahyu Lestari, who remains at large, were accused of murdering Nazrin at a house in Mutiara Damansara. On February 8, 2024, a 3-judge panel of the Court of Appeal upheld the Shah Alam High Court's decision to acquit and discharge Samira and the 2 teenagers. Police have recorded statements from 9 individuals in connection with allegations of forged documents involving the citizenship status of 7 Harimau Malaya heritage players. Bukit Aman Commercial Crime Investigation Department CCID Director Datuk Rusti Muhammad Isa said those questioned included officials from the Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, the complainant, and officers from the National Registration Department, NRD. Rusti also did not rule out the possibility of calling in representatives from the International Federation of Association Football, FIFA, to facilitate further investigations if necessary. So far, Bukit Aman has received 45 reports regarding the issue. An investigation paper has been opened under the Penal Code. On December 24th, the FAM had lodged a police report at the Petaling Jaya District Police Headquarters in relation to the matter. FAM Acting President Datuk Muhammad Yusof Mahadi said the decision to file a police report was made in line with the recommendation of the Independent Investigation Committee after the committee completed its investigation last December. He added that the FAM remains fully committed to cooperating with the police. In Perak, a palm oil estate worker was spared the death penalty after the Ipoh High Court acquitted and discharged him of 2 charges of trafficking drugs worth more than 6 million ringgit dating back 5 years. Judge Dato' Abdul Wahab Muhammad ruled that the prosecution had failed to establish a prima facie case against 52-year-old Leong Hoi Aw. However, the court ordered a second accused, 45-year-old Liu Wanhua, to enter his defense on the same drug trafficking charge involving drugs found in the boot of a luxury vehicle. In his judgment, Abdul Wahab said Leong was merely a passenger in the vehicle driven by Liu. The court also found there was no evidence to show that Leong had access to the vehicle's keys or knowledge of the existence of a hidden compartment in the boot. The judge said only Liu, who is a businessman, was found to have control and custody of the vehicle. Records also showed that Liu was the individual who rented or paid for the vehicle. Previously, both men were charged jointly with trafficking methamphetamine at two separate locations between 7:30 p.m. on June 23, 2021 and 2 a.m. the following day. In Pulau Pinang, a restaurant operator has pleaded not guilty at the Bukit Mertaja Magistrates Court to a charge of intentionally causing injury to a doctor. 32-year-old Kor Wei Yek entered the plea when the charge was read to him before Magistrate Nurul Rashida Akid. Kor was charged with intentionally causing hurt to L. Avinash, also 32 years old, by driving into him at the Perai Toll Plaza in Seberang Perai Tengah at about 11:30 p.m. on December 28th. The charge was framed under the Penal Code, which carries a maximum jail term of 10 years or a fine or whipping upon conviction. The court allowed bail of 5,000 ringgit with one surety and fixed March 4th for case mention. Earlier, a video went viral showing a man being struck by an SUV at a toll plaza. The footage showed the vehicle reversing before the victim was hit from the front. The vehicle was then seen changing lanes before fleeing the scene. As a result of the incident, the victim sustained injuries and was treated at the Bukit Mertajam Hospital. We're going for a short break. When we return, snow brings travel disruptions in Europe. Don't go away.
Saya akan bertanggungjawab dan kahwin dengan awak.
Awak dah curi first case Mel.
Contoh. Tapi Mikael ni ada ke ciri-ciri dalam checklist cinta Mel?
Takkan maafkan Along nak Angah sebab paksa Mikael bercinta pura-pura dengan Mel.
Betul ke? No.
My Stolen First Love, Jumaat dan Sabtu 9 malam. Terbaru di Lestari TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Halo. انت شو اسم العيلة؟ شو اسمك الكامل؟
Diangkat dari sebuah kisah benar, Hin Raja, Suara Terakhir, dibawakan 8 Januari 2026.
Kenapa ni?
Pasal Matul Alif. Mak Alif nak mati. Itu tiram. Macam ada hantu.
Hantu? Duit sewa kat Kuala Lumpur tu je korang lebih 1,000.
Masa kita pergi konsert road tour, malam Jumaat.
Memperkenalkan isteri baru saya.
Di Cerekerama TV3 Sabtu ini 10 malam dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Ish, itu tak boleh, ini tak suka, sana tak selesa.
Susahlah orang yang cerewet tak bertempat ni.
Dulu nak makan lemang dengan ketupat kena tunggu raya tau.
Sekarang hari-hari boleh Syira, menu sepanjang tahun.
Awak seminar hari tu rupanya bukan pakar sebenar.
Berhati-hati motivasi atau dimanipulasi.
Seronoknya mengandung bila semua yang kita idamkan dapat.
Mengidam ke mengada?
Jangan berkira dalam rumah tangga.
Takut tergadai bahtera cinta.
Semuanya di WSI TV3
dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Venezuela would turn over up to 50 million barrels of oil worth about $2.8 billion to the U.S. following a military operation to remove President Nicolas Maduro from power. Trump also urged interim President Delcy Rodriguez to give U.S. private companies full access to Venezuela's oil industry. Posting on his Truth Social platform, Trump said the oil would be sold at market prices adding that he would oversee the proceeds and use them to benefit both the Venezuelan and U.S. people. He said he had instructed his energy secretary to carry out the plan immediately. The remarks follow his earlier claim that the U.S. oil industry would be fully operational in Venezuela within 18 months, with large-scale investments expected to flow into the country. Meanwhile, Rodriguez has declared 7 days of mourning for military personnel killed in the U.S. raid. The Saudi Arabia-led coalition in Yemen has launched strikes on the country's southern Dali governorate, saying it was targeting secessionist forces after their leader fled instead of boarding a plane scheduled to take him to talks in Riyadh. The coalition said on Wednesday that the leader of the Southern Transitional Council, STC, Aida Rus al-Zubaidi, was scheduled to fly from Aden on Tuesday night for talks to end the conflict with Yemen's internationally recognized government. The coalition claimed that al-Zubaidi skipped the flight and fled to an unknown location, while the STC insisted that he remains in Aden and continues to carry out his duties. Earlier, the coalition carried out preemptive strikes targeting secessionist forces, aiming to prevent al-Zubaidi from escalating the conflict. In other news, snow, ice, and high winds brought transport chaos to swathes of Europe for a third day on Wednesday, with hundreds of flights cancelled and passengers stranded. Airports in Paris and Amsterdam were hit the hardest, with Dutch authorities reporting that more than 1,000 travelers had to spend the night at Schiphol, one of Europe's busiest airports. More than 100 flights were cancelled at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport and 40 more at the French capital's other main hub, Orly. So far, 6 people have died in weather-related accidents as the continent experiences its coldest winter spell. 5 of the deaths occurred in France, while a woman in Bosnia died amid heavy snow and rain. Meanwhile, Britain experienced plunging temperatures, forcing hundreds of schools in Scotland to close for a third day. The Eurostar service between London and mainland Europe was also disrupted, causing cancellations and delays. Turning to sports, badminton, the 2026 Malaysia Open. All national shuttlers capped off another solid day at the Super 1000 tournament by advancing to the second round on Wednesday. First up in the men's singles, Leong Junhao ended his streak of first-round exits with a straight sets 21-17, 21-17 win over China's Wang Zhenxing. The world number 28 will take on Indonesia's world number 4, Jonathan Christie, for a spot in the quarterfinals. Junhao is now the only Malaysian remaining in the men's singles after Lee Zijiao was eliminated in the first round on Tuesday. In the men's doubles, national top pair Aaron Chia and So Wee Yik defeated the American duo Chen Ji-yi and Presley Smith 21-11, 21-19 in just 35 minutes to advance to the round of 16. The world number 2 pair will face China's Chen Shujun and Liu Ya next. In another first-round men's doubles match, Wan Arif Wan Junaidi and Yap Roy King were in top form, defeating the Korean-Malaysian combination of Choi Sol-gyu and Go Vi Shem 22-20, 21-12. The world number 17 pair now face a challenging last 16 clash against India's world number 3 duo Chirag Shetty and Satwik Sairaj Rankireddy. Also advancing to the second round were the national women's doubles pair Burli Tan and M. Tina, who secured a comfortable 21-11, 21-9 victory over India's Ruta Parna Panda and Sweta Parna Panda. The world number 2 duo will next face Indonesia's Fabrian Dwi Puji Kusuma and Melissa Tras Puspitasari. Following their lead, mixed doubles duo Go Soon Huat and Siobhan Lai overcame Taiwan's Wu Guanxun and Li Chia-shin 15-21, 21-19, 21-14, setting up a clash against the American pair Presley Smith and Jenny Guy in the next round. Japan's Tamagotchi toys, a 1990s playground craze whose virtual pets demand food and attention all day, remain popular with nostalgic parents and retro-loving Gen Z. To celebrate 30 years, Japan is hosting a public exhibition in Tokyo dedicated to its iconic digital pet. Let's take a look as Nightline concludes this time around. With that, I'm Natasha. Thank you for watching and take care.